and welcome with a new episode at Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Ahmed Assaf, and we have an amazing guest today, Dr. Thomas Trautmann. How are you, doctor?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
You're most welcome. Actually, Dr. Thomas, he have a great family. He's a father for three sons and a nice wife, and he came from engineering field in computer science back in 1995, and then he did his PhD and in artificial intelligence. But he didn't found himself there. Then he moved to the marketing and sales. Could you tell me more about that experience, please?
The whole experience,
No, just moving from that.
moving from what was engineering
Yeah.
and science and so on to marketing, yes, that was quite a challenge.
Yeah.
It took me easily 6 months and a clear message from my manager that if I wasn't going to change my processes, I was going to be kicked out
Mm-hmm.
because the way to think is very different. Especially when you're in computer stuff, when you're project manager in computer stuff, uh, yeah, you do computer stuff. You don't have to interact with a lot of people. But when you go to marketing, you have to interact with a lot of people who want everything right now on the spot. And yes, I had to think differently. As I always say, I had many jokes, engineer jokes about marketing people, and then
Okay.
I had to change all my jokes because they were no more working.
So you're in the other campaign. So that's why if you were in the engineering, it's all about the logic and it's all about the mind and the order of the mind. But when we are talking
Yes.
about marketing and sales, it's more about relationships and it's more about
Yeah.
being more yourself, being more authentic, being more human, those more feelings,
Uh,
emotions, do you think?
I think they are in both situations. I think it's more a way of how people act. When you have to do, I mean, marketing is senior to sales.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but you have to interact with salespeople, and salespeople, they are driven by sorry, I have a mosquito running around me. Uh,
It's okay.
Salespeople are driven by their results. They,
Mm-hmm.
they, they need things to happen. They're in front of a client, they need an answer, or they're going to see a client, they need an answer, or they just saw one, they need an answer. And it's not a project where you say, I will give you the answer in 3 weeks because that's how we have planned it. So they may jump in your daily process things and so on of creating new marketing strategies, new marketing material, and you have to answer.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's in fact, I think it's more the way people think or the way people process information. And I have one very funny example. One day I lost all my emails. I was
Okay.
working at HP and I
Mm-hmm.
think there was a problem with the server, whatever. All my, I don't know, 100, 200 emails just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And I was panicked because I said, shit, I have so many people to reply to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed something interesting. I think only half a dozen came back saying, Thomas, we need that answer now. I said, there is not that a big emergency, urgency in giving you the replies, guys. So from now on, you will get the answer when you ask for it a second time. So that was interesting. That was really interesting to see. In fact, and very often people find the solution by themselves.
And you work in the corporation world and with IBM and with
Yeah.
HP
Yeah.
and Bush and other big companies. But as you said, you're an entrepreneur at heart.
Yeah.
How you found that in yourself? How you discovered that in yourself?
Oh, I don't know how I discovered it. I think the fact that my dad was a CEO. Okay,
Okay.
he started his career with zero diploma after he was born during the Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
He's what they call a self-made man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I found it cool, when you're a teenager, it's cool to be a boss. So I thought, yeah, one day I will be a boss. Uh, but that doesn't define you as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
But I always had that wish and desire to create something, you know, to 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 bring to use what I know to bring it to other people. But I knew I couldn't do it just from the start. So that's why I started with engineering. project management, stuff like that, international stuff. Then moved towards marketings, interacted with salespeople. And then I felt I was ready to. And then I needed to have the right idea. And that idea came with my wife. We weren't married at that time, but we had that idea during a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we said, okay, now it's the time. Let's do it.
Great.
And since then, never looked back. Had to go back to the corporate world to save my house because, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't succeed the first time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to protect your family. So
Yeah,
sometimes you have
that's a
to.
great lesson for the entrepreneurs because we have lots of my audiences, they are entrepreneurs or startups that
Yeah.
to not surrender or just keep going. Just if you have it in your
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah, you may have to do something that you don't like for a
Yeah.
while, because I mean you still have to live. Some of you
Yes.
out there may have families and so on. Your dream is nice. Your family is more important, because when you die, you will not die missing your dream. You will die missing your family, the time you didn't have with your family. So you have to accept them. I mean, it's pretty well known. After 10 years, more than 90% of all the companies and startups will die because something is missing. We all have nice ideas, but very often, and that's what I teach people now, is that it's not about having a nice idea. It's knowing perfectly who you want to serve and how their brain makes a decision. And if you don't know that, you can have the best idea and concept in the world. You will never sell it. Or you will get great investment, but then you will burn the money and still wondering, shit, why aren't we selling anything?
Mm-hmm.
So that's super important. And you have
So,
to be agile. You have to be able to adapt, flexible. So don't be locked on what you think is right, because we are at an age where we cannot know everything.
100%.
Plato could. Leonardo da Vinci could, because the knowledge was limited at that time. But
And
now
here, yeah, and
you
here
can.
is the necessity of having to surround yourself with smart people.
Yes.
And this is the proximity and having those productive, successful people around you that see greatness in you and you see greatness in them.
Yeah.
And this is
You
one
know
of
that
the most necessary thing to be successful also.
absolutely. There is a very great sentence that I love, is that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So when
Choose
you
them,
think about that,
choose them precisely.
yeah, when you think about it and you look around you, you say, shit, I'm not
Actually,
with the right people. So you
yes.
may have to give up those people to move forward, because yeah, it's really scary to think that way.
Yeah, but with all respect to them,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
I mean,
with all
if
respect to
if
them,
they're not the right people, they
yes.
may be the right people as friends, as family, as whatever. But if it's about your business, get people who know more than you and who have done more than you and who have done what you want, where you want to get. Because asking your family, I mean, I got it got a bit tense with my dad, because he said, "You never asked me for advice. You never were an entrepreneur. You became a CEO through 40 years of career. You have no
Hmm.
fucking idea what an entrepreneur is. What the life of an entrepreneur is. No, I
Yeah.
want to make millions.
And
So
here, I
people
would
around.
love to just remind my audience the necessity of asking.
Hmm.
If you don't ask, you'll not get. It's so
Oh yeah.
important to ask and move out from your comfort zone and move and
Oh
network.
yeah.
So
Oh
if,
yeah.
if we want to like make a fast forward and a few years after that, you became a certified neuromarketing instructor.
Yeah.
If we and you'd start diving to the brain and could you tell us more about that experience and what made you going more exploring the brain?
Well, I was always fascinated by the brain. In fact, when you love computers, you love human brains,
Mm-hmm.
because in fact, that's when you look at the software, at the code and so on, you dive into the brain of someone,
Mm-hmm.
because that person has a specific way of thinking, and you have to adapt to that way of thinking. Or when you create something, it's the same thing. So I already had that sort of connection. That's why also I did my PhD in artificial neural networks, because that's directly connected to the brain. So I had that background already, and yeah, I found it fascinating. I mean, when you love marketing and sales, you have to love human beings. Many people, 97% may love people, but they're wrong because they love their product more, their product or services more than the people in front of them. So I thought that I met the right guys at the right time. You know, it's always the same thing. You create what happens to you. So years before, so that's also that people know that things that don't happen on the second. It's about life, you know, life, it takes time. So I think it took, I saw those guys on the documentary when we created the first company with my wife. I think I bought the book or something like that and then just forgot about it. And then I had to take a job as a CMO. We had a lot of competition, la la la. So we had to find a way to differentiate ourselves and say, shit, that may be the right way to do it. At first, because we were such a small company, the guys weren't interested to helping us, and they insisted. So they said, okay, we're going to do the project with you. And the more we were moving forward with that project, the more I was saying, shit, that's what I want to do. You know, so I asked them, I said, you know, Thomas, usually we are not authorized to hire our clients. I said, yeah, I'm not, I know I want it for clients. I'm going to resign. And in fact, we organized the thing that I got fired. So it was cool. So now I'm free. So, and they're only hiring people that who can prove, you know, that's a rule of influence, which is called being the authority. That when you speak, people know they can listen to you. So I had a scientific background, and I have a scientific background in artificial intelligence. So I'm very close to the brain. Would I have said I have a PhD in mechanics or in fluids dynamic? How do you want to listen to me when I'm going to talk to you about the brain? So I had that. I had created my own company. I had done marketing. I had done sales. So I had all the whole package. So I got certified, and that was 6 years. That was super interesting.
So we'll agree now that the brain is the main thing, or the mind, or the
Yeah,
mindset. And that's why I named my podcast the Mindset Mastery. It's the key for all the success. So
yeah.
it's the most important thing to start. And then you talk about the product. Most people that they get love with their product, but they don't
Mm.
concentrate on giving value, which is the most important thing. It's just first of all, you have to be concentrating on giving value. And once you have the right set, on the long run, you will succeed.
It's even more complex than that.
Mhm.
The value should talk to the decision maker in the brain in front of you.
That's what I want to ask you now about that.
Uh,
So can you tell me more about that, please?
Yeah, in fact, it has been scientifically proven. Now we know it.
Yes.
There is no scientific doubt about that. We don't make rational decisions. So all people out there who think that they are smartest, the brightest, and they make only rational decisions, I'm sorry. I'm going to make you depressed today, but you make primal decisions. We make primal decisions, like most animals, by the way, because the primal brain is 500 million years old. Our rational brain is, I think, if I remember well, only 10 million years old.
Okay.
So that's what happened when we started to get on our two legs, where we became Homo erectus, and then blah, blah, we became Homo sapiens sapiens, who we are now. But our rational brain is a very limited device. It can do many wonderful things, but when it comes to decisions, sorry, it's just there to rationalize our decision. So people think they make a rational decision and then they act on it, when in fact we know now that we make a primal decision that we rationalize and then we act on it.
But still, the most important thing is to take that decision, to make that decision.
Yeah, but if you want them to make the decision you want, or if you self want to make the decision that will help your mindset, for example,
Yes.
you have to understand what triggers that decision.
Okay.
And what triggers that decision is something called in our language the subconscious frustration. We have many. And the fact is that a subconscious frustration is connected to the human being in which that primal brain is located in. It has everything to do with
Could you give
humanity.
an example of
Yes.
yes, please.
Yes, yes, of course. For example, you are sending something, well, we're talking about computers. You are sending something to a CIO. The usual way to sell, let's say, a SaaS software or a CRM or something like that. Oh, yes, we can handle blah, blah, blah. So many files. The process is running so fast. You can have two other technical guys working. That's rational selling. The problem is that the brain up there doesn't get that information. The primal brain doesn't give a shit about how many contacts the CRM can handle, at what speed, how many features. It has a subconscious frustration that maybe now it's time, I need to spend more time with my kids. Or the fact that I work every weekend to handle the company's data, I'm getting divorced. Or I need to be seen as the best project manager. I want to become the CIO. Those are human subconscious frustrations. So when you talk to someone, the first thing you have to do, you talk about them, because the primal brain is a survival tool. And as such, is focused on one and only one person, itself.
I agree 100% with that. And here's the importance of that thing is once you're selling, you have to connect first at the conscious level to give gestures, words at the beginning, just to attack the attention.
You have to connect at the subconscious level.
Yeah, and then it will be you have to connect on the subconscious level. I agree.
No, you have to start by the subconscious level.
We have to start by the subconscious
Oh,
level.
yes. Do you
Okay.
know how long it takes the brain of the person in front of you
Yes.
to decide it will like you or hate you?
Microseconds? I don't know.
Even before you open your mouth.
Okay.
Because
So,
it
so
reads,
that's the first impression.
yeah, it reads signals. It takes the brain
That's the body
0.3
language, you
seconds.
mean?
Yes, 0.3 seconds
Oh my
to
God.
decide if it's going to like you or not.
Okay.
That's subconscious. You haven't
Yeah.
even opened your mouth at that moment, you know?
So can we
So,
call this the intuition or just it's picking up the energy of the person in front of you?
yeah, it's a lot of things.
Okay.
We talk a lot about the sixth sense, the female sixth sense. It's not magic. It's the
We're going
female
there.
brain.
We're going there. Don't burn the bridges. We're
Okay,
going.
okay. I was going to.
So, so this is very important because
Yeah.
you've seen lots of sales courses online. You've seen lots of
Yeah.
seminars about sales. It's so important what you talk about. It's about the decision and how we make the decisions and how we connect with others and the necessity to understand that. And the more we understand ourselves,
Hmm?
the more we understand the others.
Yeah.
So if we know the process that you're talking about, you could sell anything. You could be more connected. You could be
Yeah.
having
Uh,
better
uh,
results.
yeah, and the problem in the world we are living now is that everyone wants everything now. No?
Hmm.
So you may, by keeping the old techniques, which I call manipulation, influence, coercion,
Hmm.
however you want to call that, you can sell. Yes, people are doing it for ages. I mean, you take companies like EasyJet or some phone sellers who say that there are only two left, there are only two seats left at that
Yes.
price. That's called urgency.
Yeah.
That's triggering something in our brain, in our primal brain. It's a cognitive bias. In fact, our brain has stopped evolving 100,000 years ago. We were living in caves at that time, so it's still
Yeah.
running the same processes.
Hmm.
That's the one of the when people generate urgency, it's the loss aversion cognitive bias. The brain prefers to have something now, even if there is an information saying that later it will be better. Because the primal brain makes a decision in 11 seconds and lives in a time frame of 7 seconds. What happened, can't relate to it. What's the future, doesn't even have an idea the future exists. The future is handled by the prefrontal cortex, which is in the rational brain. That's why we can make planification, think about, complex projects and so on. But the decision maker doesn't know the future. So very good exercise for all the listeners. If you want to sell something, try in 7 seconds to persuade a 2-year-old child. A 2-year-old child is a pure primal brain. The neocortex is not developed. That's a good exercise. And
That's in a short period of time. You have to do that.
you have 7 seconds to do that. That's
Okay.
where the primal brain runs. It runs in 7 seconds. And I can tell you, most of your listeners are currently shitting themselves because how do I do that? 7 seconds, a 2-year-old child, and I'm selling super complex software.
How can I do that?
How can I do that?
Yeah.
You talk to the primal brain. You trigger the primal brain by showing the primal brain in a few seconds with a few words that you know what the subconscious frustration is and that you are going to be the one removing that subconscious frustration.
And that's why the main point is the clients come to you to buy from you because of their wants, because what they are
Yeah.
looking for, not what
Because
for
they
your
get the
want.
feeling that that is going to remove my subconscious frustration. I
Yes.
mean, if you think rationally, that's an example I love, because one day a guy told me, Thomas, no, it's not true. I make rational decisions. I said, okay, no problem. What car are you driving? I'm driving a Peugeot Cabriolet, something like that. So, okay, I'm sorry, that's not rational. How comes? I mean, if you are rational, you want a car. Yes. So a car that's four wheels, an engine, 4 or 5 seats, doors, a body, and safety belts. Correct? Yes. Then you should have bought a Tata, the Indian brand which is selling the cheapest car existing on earth. That's rational. Driving
Okay.
a Peugeot coupe in Paris, that's fucking stupid. That's not rational. And
Mm-hmm.
then the guy went silent and say, oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, look at a very good thing is the next time you buy something, maybe not food, okay, even though it's still working with food, but something else, a new computer, a new smartwatch, a new car, whatever. Listen to what's happening in your brain because you made the decision. And then your brain goes, the rational brain, the one where you listen to yourself speaking, yeah, no, that's a good idea. Oh, yes, I can have my heart rate here. Oh, that's super important. And I get now my notifications on my wrist
Mm-hmm.
and blah, 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 blah. It's convincing itself. That's so funny. Do
Amazing.
that exercise with yourself. You're going
Sure.
to have a great fun.
Amazing. And then you dived more in the brain, and here's the one of the important questions. You dived to the brain, and you found no difference between the male and the female, right?
There are differences. There are a lot of differences.
There's lots of, excuse me, there's lots
Yeah.
of differences. So
Yes.
could you highlight the differences and tell me more
Yeah.
about that? What
The
insights about that?
Absolutely. The first difference that people need to understand, we are not equals. Men and female brains are not equals. They are complementary.
Okay.
That comes, I'm sorry for all the feminists out there or for all the super macho guys.
Yeah.
We have the same IQ, by the way.
Okay.
We don't reach the IQ in the same way. That's very funny. It comes all from our evolution. The human species evolved in a very specific way, and that's very general. Okay, I'm talking about normal men and women. Okay, I
Okay.
cannot help the other ones, the
Okay.
ones who assimilate themselves to a gay penguin running on the ice, playing with unicorns. I can't help them. Okay,
Okay.
I'm just talking generically speaking about male and female brains here. The evolution of the human species was that the male part of the species was a hunter. So, which implies that you go away, you hide, and you kill, and you hunt. So that's important. That means that you have a brain made for 3D dimension, 3D representations, for silence, for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The female part was the social part of the tribe. We were living in tribe. We still live in tribes, by the way. And as a social part, you have to understand how the other people around you are working. That's the sixth sense. You have to read very subtle physiological signals to understand, is that person sick? Is that person pissed? Is that person happy? Stuff like that. You have to communicate a lot. Women
Mm-hmm.
talk way more than men. There are some studies that say that men use 7,000 words per day, women 20,000. And that creates a lot of frustration. I don't know if the figures are right, but if you are married, check it out. I mean, I'm married. I'm very quiet. I mean, I'm talking a lot. I love talking, okay? Don't get me wrong. But in comparison to my wife, I'm a super quiet guy. She
I
talks all
have
the
that
time.
problem too.
Yeah, so you
She
understand.
she
I
told me
mean,
that the same. Yeah.
it's funny. It's how we work. Once you know it, you
Yeah.
won't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
My wife says everything she's doing. No, sorry. No, no,
Okay.
no. Now I'm taking a pencil and I'm going to write that down. I have to do this. I just say, shut up.
Yeah, I'm experiencing that. And that's why she told me that with your clients at work, you're always talking. And once you're at home, you're just
Yeah, so the theory says yes, because when you're at work, you spend all your 7,000 words. So when
Mhm.
you come home, you have no more desire to talk. While she, even at work, she may have spent 7,000, 10,000 words. She still has in storage 10,000 more words.
Oh my God.
So that's a funny thing.
Really, that's so important to understand that
Oh
because
yeah.
this leads to lots of
It creates so much
issues.
frustration.
Yeah.
And the worst thing I want people to understand, is that because that brain, that primal brain, is still running in caves,
Mm-hmm.
when we were living at that time, we had a super important process that's called the fight-flight process. It's a survival process. When you get attacked or when you are hunting or something like that, even the female part of the brain,
Mm-hmm.
you need to very quickly get into survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's flight-flight process, even today, starts in the body, absolutely crazy things. It's driven by a little part of the brain called the amygdala. The amygdala shoots adrenaline in the body. That's the woo, you get super pumped up. You know, Red Bull has a lot of adrenaline, taurine, all that shit in there. So don't get me wrong, I drink Red Bull, I love it. But it's not good for your health, though.
I know, but still you're
Anyway,
drinking it.
well, it's good. So that it shoots cortisol in your body so that you feel less pain. It pulls blood away from your limbs so that if you get hurt, you don't bleed that much. It accelerates your heart rate. It accelerates your breathing rate so that you move faster. So when you get attacked by a saber-toothed tiger or by a guy with a big stone in his hand, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that this process is still running in our brain.
Till
And
now.
nowadays, yes,
Um,
and it starts with just a few words.
mm-hmm.
A good one is yes, but. And you know, when you say yes, but, you have this that's
Yeah.
coming out. In
What
fact,
would
because your
happen? Yeah.
rational brain is 200 times slower than your primal brain because of the design of it. So when you say yes, but, that's typically the primal brain speaking. And then the moment the but comes out, the rational brain kicks in and says, no, 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 don't say that. It's too late.
You're
In
at
front of you, the fight-flight process has started. When
mm-hmm.
you come home and she says, darling, we need to talk, your fight-flight process starts. When you're at work, oh, Thomas, I need to tell you something about your project. Your
Mm-hmm.
fight-flight process starts. It's terrible. It's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely terrible. And the problem we have is that we humans need a lot of time to get the adrenaline out of our brain. Animals, I mean, I'm a horse lover. Horse love in fear. They have a super fight-flight process. They can get, fear is the survival, natural survival mode. A horse lives in permanent fear,
Mm-hmm.
but it can be very quiet, eating grass. Then suddenly it snaps. It gets in panic mode. 2 minutes, 20 seconds later, it's back eating grass. Normal calm, cool down, heart rate is down. It took a few seconds. For us, you can be in your car and the process still goes on and
It's
you're
stopped.
pissed and you are talking in your about yourself and so on. So that's a process that you need to understand and to control. So you need to let your rational brain have the time to start. That's complicated.
Yeah, and it's so important to understand that in our daily life, even if you're not married, and if you're
Yeah,
married, you have to
everyone.
use that. You have to know that, and to have a happy family, to enjoy your life also as much as possible. You must
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah, if you have, as you're talking about mindset, it's a lot of work to start to think positively because our brain cannot make the difference between good and bad. And
Mhm.
the second problem is if I tell you don't think about an elephant, what did you just think about? What did you just visualize? An elephant, of
Elephant,
course.
yeah, you told me no.
That's an easy trick to do.
Yeah.
But you have that, and you have the fact that you have all those thoughts in your head, all the time. So if you compare both brains, it's it's good to be able to process, to drive your primal brain, to get your primal brain used to being positive.
Hmm.
Pull it out of the state it's in now. And the primal brain hates to make decisions because it's running at 90 to 100% all the time. So
Mm.
making a decision is a painful process. It requires energy. It hates that.
Hmm.
And that's why it most people who are unhappy stay unhappy because they cannot make the decision to extract themselves from that unhappiness.
Yeah, it's
Because
it's 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 a decision at the end, as you
it's a
said.
decision. It's a decision, and it's a decision where the brain doesn't know what's out there. If I want to compare, I like that example of a fighter jet pilot. They practice all the time ejection. It has to be automatic. It has to be run inside the primal brain because if they don't do that, the primal brain says, I'm happy here. Yes, it's burning. Yes, the ground is coming
That's
fast.
the
Yes, I no
comfort
more
zone. That's the
yes, I
comfort
no more
zone.
have wings and so on, but here I am okay. Outside, I have no idea. It may be cold,
But I'm
windy,
going, yeah.
noisy, whatever. I'm not going out. So you have to say, yes, no, boom, we are going out now. We don't think, we just do it.
Yeah,
So you
take
have to get
decision
that.
and move.
And being positive is so important, you know. It changes your mindset.
Amazing. Now then, through your journey, you merged the neurocouple and the ethical persuader system.
Mm.
So, and you came with those solutions. Could you tell me us a little bit about those solutions?
Yes, ethical persuasion is in fact the what I call the next human step to neuromarketing.
Mm-hmm.
Neuromarketing, when I teach neuromarketing, I always felt that something was missing. Don't get me wrong, neuromarketing is super efficient. It works amazingly. It drives two-digit growth in a few months. It's amazing. But still, the people I was training got information to improve the marketing and the sales of the company, but not for themselves.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I said, okay, I cannot keep doing that. I want people to get themselves get something for themselves. I want to serve people, you know? So
Okay.
that's why I created the ethical persuader, which is based on the science, which is neuro persuasion, where in fact you first learn something about yourself. So how you can drive decisions you want from people while you make them make the decision they need, which means in fact that you trigger the subconscious frustration and you help them remove that subconscious frustration.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, I had a neuro couple because as I was saying, they are still divorce lawyers, they are still couple therapists, so we still haven't sorted things out. So let's dive into the brain. And that's why I created the neural couple concept.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I said, okay, but both can work together. In fact, because there are many married business owners, married entrepreneurs, and so on, who male or female, who suffer from that. Because if you don't succeed in your business, you are unhappy and you drive unhappiness in your couple. And if you don't make money, your couple gets stressed. And if your couple is not working, you bring that stress in your brain at work, and you cannot perform. It's a snake that's biting its own tail. So you have to get out of that. So
Yeah,
it's
and that's
how the impact system got created. It's a merge of all that.
and that merge could solve also the main issue in our schools, on our universities, or even in life. Three things I think they never taught us about is first, who we are, how we think, how we feel, how we act. Two, how we earn money. And earning money is not about setting time, is how to
Mm.
earn money, have different sources of income. And three, how to take decisions, how to make decisions, and the
Yeah.
necessity of taking decisions, because not making decision will lead you to the doubt and worry and fear that you are talking about. So
Mhm.
by merging those things, I think you could cover lots of things, and that would be a
Yeah.
great merging. And through your journey, it was you became a 10x business coach with Grant Cardone.
Yes. Yes. Last year.
So yeah, and how you think that helped you more practically and through your coaching?
Oh, it's super interesting because I didn't notice it. It's my wife who told me one day. She said, "Wow, you are completely different. You're a different man. You changed. You put you have such a drive. I've never seen you driven like that. I mean, I've always worked hard. I'm a hard
Mhm.
worker. I'm passionate about what I'm doing. But she says the way you do things is different. And yes, when you're at 10x, you change your actions, your approach, your attitude. Everything changes. And
And how
when you
was
have
that
that achievement,
reflected to your marketing, to your sales, and helping others grow to 10x?
well, that's the coaching part, which is different from what we talked before.
Yeah.
So yes, it's bringing those tools, those 10x tools, to other people
Hmm.
so that they get it. And it's interesting. It's a story. So that's very funny because with my brain background, I know where they struggle, so I can help them get out of there. But I recently had a guy, an entrepreneur, a solopreneur. So he said, "Yeah, well, Thomas, yeah, my objective is I want to buy a 150,000 euro apartment." I said, "Well, that's nice, good thing. Let's 10x it. Let's make it 1.5 million." And he went
Good
blank.
job.
I said, "Shit." He said, "Okay, so show me your daily plan, your daily schedule." So yeah, I wake up he lives in Spain, okay?
Okay.
He's Irish, but he lives in Spain. So you have the Irish laid back attitude with the happy life of the Spanish guy. So you can figure out. So He wakes up at 7, walks the dog, sport, 9 to 12, answering emails, 12 to 4 to 2, you know, lunch, time with the lady and so on, then 2 to 4, work, and then a bit of music because he's a musician. So, okay, 1 hour for music is okay. Then a bit of Netflix and so on, and then sport, and then bed. I said, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not.
if I am in your line of business, I am killing your company in 2 months. He said, how? Okay, I tell you, I wake up at 5. From 5 to 6, or sometimes when I don't work later, 6 to 7, I do sport and I educate myself at the same time because I listen to audiobooks. So that's done. Then from 7 to 8, I start doing my to-do list. At 8, I take care of my kids, I take them to school. From 9 to 12, I work. From 12 to 2, I have some other work. I have a little light lunch with my wife, and then I keep working. And at 6, I take care of my kids and of my family. And maybe I have some meetings and so on because with the US around 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. And then I go to bed. So I'm working 5 times more than you. I'm killing your business if I do it.
Yeah, that's the mindset of a growth mindset
Yes,
versus the fixed mindset.
but you have to define that growth mindset. You have to make it clear in your mind, you know? And at
That's
10x, we teach something to people. We call it do the math. Once you have
mhm.
defined your objective, you have 10x it, excuse me. Then based on what you are selling, you divide that amount by what you are
Yeah.
selling, you know how much you have to sell. So how
Mhm.
much do I have to sell per year, per month, per day, per hour? And then you see, oh, that's getting complex. And then you notice that maybe being a solopreneur is not the solution. Maybe you need to grow your team. And it switches your mind completely.
Yeah, starts thinking out of the box, and that's what you need. Because if you want to 2x your income, maybe you have to work a little bit more harder. But if you're talking 10x, it's a shift. It's a different way of
Oh,
thinking. That's why it's so necessary to put big goals. It's not but just
yes,
underestimate
yes.
yourself.
And you should never, ever accept to downsize your goal.
Yes,
You are at half of the way here. We're in June. You have decided to make 1
it's
million.
okay.
Shit, I've made only 20,000. So don't say this year I'm going to make 40,000. No,
No,
you are going to make 1 million. You are just late. So maybe it's time to kick yourself in the arse, you know? But if you say I want to make 40,000, when you make 20,000, oh, I'm halfway. Easy piece of cake, cool, not going to do more. But if you say, I have a 20,000, I need to make 1 million, the next 6 months, I have to find a way to do that.
you're committed to
I
that.
really have. And maybe you will only reach 200,000, but that's still 5 times more of your shitty 40,000
Yeah.
goal.
And that's the difference between interested in something and be committed to that. Interested, you do it
Yes.
just at your convenience. And
Yeah.
when you're committed, you just do it and you don't
Yeah.
accept any excuse. You just accept the results and observe it.
Yeah, and people say, okay, but yeah, but how am I going to make 1 million? I don't know
Not
how
your
to get there.
responsibility.
You don't need to know
Yeah.
right now how you will get there. I mean, there's a very good thing I've stolen from the law of attraction. One guy says, if I want to go, I'm living in the south of France. If I want to go to Paris by night,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the Eiffel Tower. It's 800 kilometers away, but the lights of my car show me 200 meters
Wait,
or something like that. I move forward, I see 200 meters. I may get lost. I still know I want to see the Eiffel Tower. So I may go on the side runs. I still see in front of me. I still have my object. One day I will get to the Eiffel Tower. See?
amazing.
I love that. I love that good
Yeah.
story.
If we could close with insights, just three things, what you would tell our audience, our startups, our business owners, our entrepreneurs,
Uh,
as a from through your all experience and
Yeah.
as a 10x coach, where they should start, what they should be looking for, and what could you tell
Uh,
them?
Start with a goal. Start with an objective, a real objective. Don't go little. Be Go big. Go big. You will get there. You will make it. Get your brain focused on that. Okay. Work on your brain. Second thing is stay positive. Stop negativity. Negativity is eating resources, eating energy from your brain. Stop it. Stop listening to the news. They only want to sell sad things. Okay. You pay attention to what's happening in the world. It's driving your business now. Stop listening to the news. Stop listening to the naysayers. When you wake up in the morning, smile. Smiling is a free drug. It shoots endorphin in your brain. It rewards your brain. It makes you happy. When I wake up every morning, I say thanks, 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 and I'm smiling. Say thanks because I'm still alive. I don't know why I say thanks, but I say thanks. And
Grateful.
I don't listen to negative comments. I'm a positive guy now. It changed my life, you know? And the third thing is communicate. I know, be an entrepreneur, you think you know everything, you want to do everything on your own. Stop that. Talk to people. Get a coach. For fuck's sake, get a coach, you know? I didn't have a coach. I thought I could do everything on my own. And when you get a coach, you see, oh shit, I missed so
Yes.
many things. I'm currently preparing a keynote. I mean, I'm training people to make keynotes, and they do great keynotes. And still, I need a coach to do my own keynotes. You know, it's always the same thing. It's the shoemaker has the worst shoes. But you need to be coached. You need to be you need to be held accountable for what you're doing. Find someone who kicks you in the butt every day.
Yeah, holding accountability. It's the success insurance policy from drifting and prevents
Yeah.
you from drifting. And we need that. And
Yeah.
it's not a period of time. You could have this long-term mentorship
Oh yes.
because
Yeah.
as Warren Buffett said that we always need those great mentors around us. And you have to be an intelligent follower for a great
Yeah.
leader, for a great mentor.
And,
Would
and again, to circle back to the first thing about the five people we talked about at the beginning, is
yeah,
there's another one, good one. If you are the smartest person in a room, you are not in the right room.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
accept that people know more than you. The day you do that, wow, it opens so many possibilities.
That's necessity of being compete with yourself and create with others. Don't
Exactly.
compete
That's
with
super
yourself.
lovely, you know? Don't take the others as competition. You are your own competition. Use the others as an example. I mean, the French are very bad at that, you know? Yeah, when you succeed, it's yeah, you're lucky, you shouldn't have been la 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 la. Fuck's sake, you know. I was once in a traffic jam because there was a strike in France. And
Hmm.
right in front of me, there was a Bentley, super beautiful car. And they're all shouting at the guy. But guys, ask him how he did that. How did he get
Exactly.
the car? What did he do?
Ask.
You are standing out there with your miserable 1,000 euros per year and you are complaining. Stop complaining. Ask him how he managed to do
You
that.
have to
Do like
decide
him.
either be the watcher or be
Yeah,
the team player or sit
yeah,
on the fence. It's all your decision.
exactly.
Just
Exactly.
be the team player. Be the write your movie. Be the star of your movie. It's your life. You're
Exactly. Yeah,
responsible about that.
yeah.
I really want to thank you for this impressive podcast. It was an amazing episode with you. Thank you, Dr. Thomas, and wish you
Thanks for having
the best.
invited me. I mean,
And
I
if we
really
need
love
to,
it.
if we'll let just the audience will contact you, just how could they contact you through your
Well,
website?
they can find me on LinkedIn. I'm the
Okay.
Thomas Trautmann with the bald head and the brain.
Okay.
Or they can go on the website, happy-brains.com. So yeah, that's the easiest way to get hold of me.
Thank you. Thank you. Wish you all the best. Thank you,
Yeah,
Doctor.
you too. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.